Hi, my name's John, and I recently found 35 browser extensions that have a lot of suspicious code in them. One of them was actually a Fire Shield extension protection, and I'm going to do a deep dive on that one right now. So, this extension claims to see what other extensions you have installed and what permissions that they used, and check if you have any potentially compromising extensions. Seems really helpful. 300,000 users. Let's get it added into my browser. All right, so right off the bat, I'm asked to give it access to read and change all data on all websites. Seems a little extreme for just understanding what other extensions I have installed, but hey, let's give it a go. So we add it in, and it will start appearing up here in my extension tray. I don't know how to really activate this off the bat, so let's click on it and see what happens. And while it tried to load a page, it is now just blank. And so not entirely sure of how it works. Seems completely non-functional right now, but maybe if I check into the extension's background service worker and some of the code, I'll be able to understand what's going on. So what you can do is you can go into your extensions configuration panel, and you can click on the service worker. And this will bring up a dev console looking thing, but specifically for the extension. Do that. And so, all right, nothing's showing up in the console, no network activity right now. Let's go to a page and see if anything pops up. Yeah, nothing going right now. All right, well, that's interesting. Maybe if I click on the extension again, something will happen. Oh, all right, cool. So now it seems like it's made a web request to ext.fireshieldit.com/API/fire/node. There's some request headers like a unique identifier, my profile, the time that I installed the extension, and the extension ID. So, all right, that's good information. Let's see if there's anything in the payload. All right, there's an action browser extension clicked. So that was probably me clicking on the icon in the extension tray. There's some info about my device, and there's the permissions that I have accepted, and a user configuration. Now, I've already reviewed this extension pretty deeply. I know this user conf is very important. There's some settings in here like the API domain and the error domain that it interacts with. But it's really hard for any general user to know how this impacts them. But through looking at the extension source code, I found that the user comp can be updated by responses from the third-party web server. So right now I'm just getting a blank JSON object, and that's all that I've ever been able to get as a response from any of these extensions. Remember, there's 35 of them that operate very similarly to this. So in order to see if I can get new behavior out of this extension, what I can do is I can go into the console. That user comp is set in the local storage of my extension, and I actually have a version of that configuration here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change this vLevel parameter to 5. That seems to control what types of information is being sent to the third-party server. So I'll save that off. And now let's see if I go to something like Instagram, ESPN. All right, a lot of new traffic. The action is risk now, so that's interesting. And it is sending details about the URLs that I'm going to, what tab that I'm in, the width and height of my window, a bunch of other information sent to the server. Again, you'll see no responses right now, but this is a form of clickstream tracking. So it is identifying me as a user, and it's telling this third-party server what websites that I'm going to, basically for every new site that I'm browsing to, and it's tracking all of my activity. Now, this is bad enough. This is something that I think a lot of organizations should not have their users have installed on their laptops. But what is more interesting is that within the code, and I lay this out in my extension analysis as well, these permissions like cookies and tabs and web requests, they're utilized in a bunch of different ways based on responses back from the third party server. And so the code in this non functional extension actually has the capability to read all of the cookies stored for a specific domain and package those up and send them off to the third party server. So again, there's 35 extensions that all have about the same code in them from different companies, not just FireShield now, but Security Browse and Wise Ghost and a bunch of other things that are all operating the same. And I think they're very suspicious. So uh, make sure to check and see if any of these are installed in your organization. Thanks.